This exotic will forever be known as the fuck your couch exotic. And if you don't know Dave Chappelle, watch him at some point, fellas, because everything that you see in today's video has got fuck your couch all over it. Antaeus Wards. These are exotic boots. They're on the Titan class, and they grant you an ability. They grant you the exotic perk Reflective Vents, Improved Slide. Sliding reflects incoming projectiles. Reflecting projectiles grant super energy. This raised a lot of questions when we first read this. Like, what does Bungie consider a projectile? A lot of shit, boys. First up, let's go through everything that this thing can deflect. It can reflect hammers, both top tree and bottom tree. I was curious about this. I thought, wait, can it really reflect embers? Absolutely. It can also reflect Sentinel shields. Now I figured that was probably going to be the case. What I didn't think it could do was reflect a Nova Bomb. Oh yeah, and Slova, it actually completely turns on you. You see those Axion bolts? They are now mine. They can reflect golden gun shots. One thing I will say, bottom tree golden gun shot, it does reflect, but you still die from it. It can reflect sticky grenades. Any sticky grenade, actually. Matter of fact, it can reflect any grenade just about. Skip grenades too. Matter of fact, they actually turn on the enemy. Pulse grenades actually won't even hurt me. I'll just sit there and stand in it. It'll hurt you though. Again, sliding now gives me ownership over your abilities. That is my conclusion on Antaeus Wards. Now, as far as power weapons goes, it can reflect Warcliffe Coil. Now, I did die from Warcliffe Coil though, because I think there's just so many spread of different rockets that it's gonna reflect, but also simultaneously kill me. Now, a Prospector shot, it reflects it perfectly. Matter of fact, the Prospector shot just came back and stuck sneakers here that shot it at me. Now, Sleeper was one I was questioning, because that would be really useful. You're in a Gambit game, you go to invade, somebody's charging a Sleeper, you slide it, you reflect the damage and kill them. Well, you can reflect the damage easily. The problem is you die too. So I think Sleeper is very similar to Bottom Tree Goldie, in which you both die. Again, there is an art to this. You can't just slide and be impervious to all damage. You actually have to slide and time it correctly, which is what takes us to our conclusion today. Antaeus Wards can reflect all of these things. It sounds amazing, but is it applicable in Crucible, in a real gunfight, in a real scenario? First up, let me go ahead and say something about Antaeus Wards. If you really want to get the most out of it, you got to be squared up with your opponents. And that's not always the case. You're not always looking people dead in the eye when you're coming around a corner. So them having a Goldie gun out or a Nova Bomb ready will not always have head-on direct impact with you. On top of that, sliding just slightly before the projectile gets to you, or even after, will just result in you dying. There is only a brief period there where the reflection is actually working, where that exotic perk is actually doing its job. So there is a major skill gap involved with these exotics. So in terms of its main application, what I liked the most out of it was that it gave me the ability to win just about all of my shotgun fights. I slide in to get the kill with my shotgun. The enemy is standing before me. He shoots his shotgun. I eat it because that's what the shield allows me to do. And I just kill him. So to me, guys, Antaeus Wards is very much like Paragon Greaves, but with a much higher skill gap. Paragon Gravez was a D1 exotic that allowed you to shoulder charge people out of their supers while airborne. So to me, this is like Paragon Gravez 2.0, but much harder to activate in time, which is why I don't think Antaeus Ward is nearly as broken as people may perceive it to be. Again, on paper and testing in Crucible, anything can look absolutely disgusting. I was kind of under the impression this would be as easy as activating Jug Shield back in D1, but this is much more difficult and even more difficult than Paragon Greaves. But for the people that actually will take the time and perfect sliding, perfect the timing, this can be montage worthy. I would watch it. I would watch a montage all day of just supers being reflected. It'd be fantastic. Now, the last application I want to mention is PvE. Because what if we get some big bad boss in the raid? I don't think Bungie would do this, but what if we did? And that big bad boss, at some point through that encounter, might shoot a projectile of some sort at you. I'd laugh my ass off if we can reflect that. So guys, just keep that in mind, my PvE players. Very much a PvP exotic, but it'd be interesting to see how it works in PvE. So fellas, that is your review for Antaeus Wards. Thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.